What's up, guys? Andy's back again with another Hidden Gems of Gaming, and this time we're back with the Artful Escape. Now, this is a fairly new game. It is one that I've managed to play through recently, and what a game it is! What a journey! It's probably not a game for everyone. Now, it's probably a game that everybody should try. So, if you want. Bless me. If you're wanting a Call of Duty action game, explosions everywhere, Gears of War type, this is probably not it. If you're wanting an Uncharted set piece type game, this is not it. If you're wanting an Horizon Zero Dawn level of technicality, bless me again. Hay fever, gotta love it. This is not it. However, if you want a game that just plays with your senses, just is an emotional roller coaster throughout, and you're a massive fan of music, you sort of like a chill game where like your walking simulator sort of type games. It's not just a walking simulator; it is 2D platform. There's a little bit of a rhythm game in there, but this is a game that really is sort of for a niche crowd, if you like, but it hits you in the nostalgia feel, so there might be something personal to you that this game triggers, in a good way, maybe a bad way, maybe a sad way, maybe a happy way. There's a lot of nostalgia on pop culture and movies and things like that, so we'll get into it. I'll take you through a bit of gameplay and we'll sort of break down what's happening. So here we are, young Vendetti, and you live in some rural village. There's probably about half an hour of gameplay before this. Just setting the story. I'll skip through the audio and bits. There's some good voice actors in here. You've got Carl Weathers, Mark Strong, Lena Headey, a couple of others in there as well. This game's absolutely surreal. I mean, you've got this horrible creature here, and what you'll see there is you've got his two eyes, the third eye, or what, and thing. Now, what that resembles on your controller, if you play on Xbox, is LBRB, Y, X and B. I had to have a look at if you look at it on your controller. Now, what that is later in the game is there's like little rhythm games, and you have to sort of play concerts, and they'll light up, and it just breaks up the game. But there's a lot in this game that just makes you smile, and there's a reason that I've started it at this point, and I'm hoping that I've got to the right point, because this took me back, this part, to something when I was younger, and I think that's very much what this game does. Is a lot of influence. Like you'll see characters, intentional or not. There's one that looks like Hugo Weaving. There's one that looks like Billy Joel. You've sort of got a little bit of Elvis Costello by your Jarvis Cocker type. I think your character would be, if it was live action, Andrew Garfield, sort of from Spider-Man, is based on. You've got your girl, who you sort of companion who helps you, is Ramona Flowers. There's a big Bill and Ted influence to it. And there's not too much to the game now. This is sort of what blew my mind, is when you shred on your guitar by holding X, it interacts with things in the background and various levels of different things, whether it's flowers opening, doors opening, lights shining, fireworks playing. It just interacts. Now, what resonated with me on this level is when I was a wee nip. I'll show you a little bit more. And this is what it does. I was sort of talking to a friend about it before, and there was something later on that reminded him of something, and that's how we got talking about it. He was like, oh, playing this game and such happened. Now, what this game, what should make you do? I mean, you can hold X and run, and you'll just keep coming down. Now, what sort of hit me is you'll see, and I think it's fantastic, is these lights in the background in the houses. I just think the colours are absolutely fantastic. And what I'll get on with it in a minute. What resonated to me before I changed subject slightly or come off tangent, which I am always guilty of, is when I was a young wee nip nip. Back when I must have only been about 4, 5, 6, up to me, somewhere around that age, maybe till a bit older. We had a Christmas tree, as most people do. Now, on that Christmas tree was some lights, and they were like little jack-o'-lanterns. Not jack-o'-lanterns, like little lanterns, like old school, like this sort of thing here in front of me here, sort of like lanterns like that. And they had frosted glass on them, and the colours were exactly like the colours that you're seeing in the windows there. And they're some of the best lights I've ever seen. And when they come out, I knew it was Christmas. And that all when Christmas was special, that's when, your family were off work, you'd sit around watching films, eating junk, drinking snowballs, and just having a fantastic time. And that's what it reminded me of. And it just had that, little bit of feels inside you, and it was just like, oh. And a friend of mine who I told about the game as well, he played something later on in the game, sort of snowy level, and it reminded him of something similar, but with his family going out and being in the snow and stuff. And it does a lot of that, but there's also a lot of throwbacks. Like I say, you'll see in a minute. Anybody who's a Bill and Ted fan, you're just going to think Rufus. One of the other big influences I think that had on this game, if anybody's a fan, I'm generally a metalhead and rocker by trade. Probably wouldn't notice it looking at me. But, I mean, I love all music. I mean, anything from 80s, early 90s, grunge, pop, some rap. I will listen to most things apart from modern day pop. Now, oops. Just skip through this for you. Knocking them challenges and achievements out as well. So, yeah, this will have influences from everything. And what I was saying is, this, to me, when I first saw this, was Rufus. Now, he's not coming down in a phone box, obviously, but just his demeanour, what happens in game, it's just Rufus. The other guy's a bit sort of from Mars Attacks, and a couple of old 50s B movies. But there are choices, and I'm not 1,000,000% sure if they affect what outcomes the gameplay. But we'll skip through, and then what happens is you get taken to a central hub. And basically the game is, before I go back, I've come off a tangent again. You can see you're Francis Vendette. You live in a little town. There's your musical key that I mentioned earlier, where your buttons match, and they're colour coordinated as well. So when it lights up, you have to do it in order. And like this part, I'll just do this part though. So. And some of these get just fantastical in a bit when they just get more and more insane and bigger. And as I was saying, what it is, you're Francis Vendette, and you live in this little town. You've got an uncle who's long gone, who was a bit of a star in town, who played classical folk music. Everybody loved him, and you're a bit of a guitarist as well, but you're sort of living in his shadow a bit, and everybody sort of resent you a little bit, and you know, they've got a little bit of disdain and dislike for you, and even though you're happy sort of to keep everybody tame, you feel a little bit lost, and you want to find your own way and, you know, step out of the shadows sort of things, and make your own identity, which is what the story is. It's just like, you're going to be this absolute rock star legend, create your own identity that, you know, is going to step you out of the shadows. As I say, the influences are rife from everything. You've got everything from a little bit of I forget his name. His name's just slipped my mind. It'll come back to me in a minute. I was going to say Van Halen, but not. You know, Voodoo Child Man. I completely forgot his name. How terrible. Hendrix. I couldn't think for life of me then. So there's a little bit of inspiration from Hendrix in there. But one thing I've noticed is, even from that sort of creature there, and you'll notice on one of the levels if we get to that stage, is if anybody's a fan of Monsters of Men, and this is what I was saying earlier, is I'm generally a rocker by trade, but I love Of Monsters of Men. They sort of like, I don't know if you've ever heard of them. You've probably heard some of the songs if you ever played FIFA. I think a couple of songs that went on there. First off, go and listen to Dirty Paws. If you want something a little bit more catchy and upbeat, Wild Roses. One of my favourites is Wolves Without Teeth. Just listen to them, and they're just fantastic. And when you watch the videos as well, like Dirty Paws, King and Lionheart, and a couple of others, like, to me, there's a massive inspiration for this video game. Like, at a lot of levels, you just imagine Of Monsters of Men playing in the background. So there is some comedy in it, a little bit of profanity, no nudity. As I say, it's not a game that, you know, you're going to be battling waves of enemies or anything like that. There's no combat in the game. You get the most action you get is what I've just shown you, but obviously they get grander in scale, and you have these guitar battles. Then you come back to this central hub that we're going to now. There's a couple of sort of sidey missions in here to be had, and then you just go to different areas around the world, or around the universe. It's like the Cosmic Supreme or something. And you just go on these weird and wonderful adventures. And, I mean, graphically, I mean, your character's a bit weird. It reminds me of Woody, how he runs. But then you look at the background here, and it's like sort of photorealistic. And here we have Mars Attacks again. Just imagine Carl Weathers. But yeah, it's just a game that, it doesn't sound exciting on paper. You're just walking left to right. There's a bit of platforming. Like, there are some levels, like there's one where you're sort of going through a futuristic city, and I think it might be the only one off the top of my head where you can actually die, as it were. And there's some jumps that you've got to make where you're playing your guitar and it'll open the door, and you've got to like jump at the right time and get through the door. If not, you'll just start at the top of the hill again. So there's no frustrating. It's not like you're going to be stuck there. I mean, the achievements, I think there's two that are sort of out your way. One's the one that I got at the beginning, where you've just got to light up the old town, which is nothing difficult. And then I think there's one for like a side mission where you've just got to jam with a couple of NPC characters. So achievements, again, nice and fantastic, but it's not about that. I've stopped playing games for that. So this is one of the first levels that I'll show you. I thought we went into the hub, so I'll get to this, and then we'll probably end the video there, because I've waffled long enough now, if this is the playable level. But yeah, it's just a game that, to me, if you're a big fan of music, you know, sort of the 80s, You know, even 70s, I suppose, you know, through that sort of psychedelia, you know, era sort of thing, where, you know, sort of Jimi Hendrix sort of period. You know, if you've got a tie to that, if you've just, you know, sort of an artsy person, I think there's just something that just wakes up your senses and sort of brings chills at time as well. And sometimes, I mean, I've been playing, obviously, the games that I've been doing videos on. I've had a bit of a break from FIFA. I'm coming back to that next week. You've got Battlefield around the corner. You've got the new Dark Pictures game coming soon. Now this is what you can, and I think it's later. Can't remember how you do it. There is a button you can press. Now this is where it's fantastic. Before I go into it, but yeah, it's sometimes I just want a game where you can chill and you can sort of switch your brain off and you can appreciate what's going on. Can you do it yet? You've got Y button where you can like do sort of poses. There is something where you can do a knee slide, and I can't remember how it is. And when I found that, I was like, oh my goodness. But yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of this, and the levels just get more and more spectacular. And that's where you die, and that's about it. And then you'll find your music sort of matches what's going on in the background, and as the level progresses, it like builds up to like a big crescendo, and you've sort of got a slide going on it, but you can do a knee slide, and I can't remember exactly how. It might tell me in a minute. But yeah, it just, like I say, it is a bit of a niche game, but anybody who's a fan of music, anybody who just wants to sort of chill, enjoy a game, like I say, just if you've got an active mind, I mean, just this here now, like I've seen this and it gives me chills, and I don't know what it is about it, and I just think it's like, you know, sort of like a never-ending story type thing, that like sort of 80s feel-good factor. When you watch a film like The Goonies and things like that, or there's a bit of mysticism. I mean, this like seeing spaceships just come overnight, it's just, you know, it's daft, and you'll see a lot of that. You know, giant yes, allergies. Giant creatures sort of flying by you in later levels, and cities waking up, and massive planescapes coming for, you know, opening up and things like that. Excuse me, sorry guys. I'm definitely going to go and take my hay fever tablet here. This thing I found strangely attractive, and I'm not sure why. Like, I was like, well, that's weird. And then I was like, maybe I've just been on my own too long. Maybe that's what it is. But yeah, guys, I mean, I've waffled. I've probably not much sense, but, you know, it's a game that I recommend. It's just hit Game Pass. You know, so for us Xbox fans out there, if you subscribe, which you should be subscribed, you know, it's not costing you anything. You know, it's a small game to download. Gameplay, you know, you could get a good, I'd probably say 10 hour. You complete it in a day if you went for it, but you're looking at a couple of days. But it's just one of them where I think you'll remember it. Like, as daft as it sounds, like, it's all well and good playing these big Uncharted's and things like Spider-Man's and whatnot, and great AAA games. But a lot of them are forgettable recently, and there are some moments, but this is one of them games that resonates with me. And I remember it, and there's one really little tiny part at the end that brought a tear to me, and there's not many games that have done that. I think there's two recently that I can think of that hit me in the feels a little bit, and this one got me. And it's just something, again, it might be something that's sentimental to me, it might be just something that how I feel and how I work, but there's just a little bit right at the very end of the game, and it just got to me a little bit, and it like sort of happy sadness sort of thing. So So you get this. So you can I am the All-Might. You can change courageous, terrible, villainous, powerful, comical, wondrous, delusional, excited. So there's plenty of things. Later on, you do get to sort of change your character, choose your outfit and your guitar and things. So there's a little bit of customization there. I went with Eric Draven earlier, like as a Crow reference. But yeah, there's plenty on there. But yeah, rather than me, I wanted the Mighty. I don't know where it's gone. No. But that's it, guys. I'm not going to go anymore. I don't want to spoil anything. I want you to experience it. I've sort of shown you the basics, what the game's about. You've got an idea now. So all I can recommend is you go out and play it. One thing that I would like you to do, though, is if you're watching these videos, if you can subscribe to my channel. Again, we're getting the views. There's obviously repeat viewers, but I'm just not getting the subscribers, and that's what we need. So comment down below if you've played the game, what you thought of it, you know, if anything affected you, so anything from your childhood, anything that it brought, you know, them nostalgia feels to. You know, if there's anything that I might have missed gaming wise, if there's, you know, interact with me, I'll interact with you, not a problem at all. So drop a like on the video if you liked it, comment if you've got anything to let me know, and please just subscribe to my channel, and then we'll see you in the next one, guys. But other than that, as always, if you want to stay safe, enjoy your gaming, but other than that, guys, just peace and love, and we'll see you in the next one.